Thanks. Yeah. Good morning. I'm going to pace around up here because that's what I do, and I can't see you, so I'm going to pace. So this talk is a little unorthodox because it's a talk about what I would go back and say to myself if I was still CIO of a big corporation, as opposed to what I've learned the last year as a CIO inside of a SaaS company. So this is a little bit of me talking to myself, but hopefully you'll find that useful as I mumble and bumble to myself. So, next up. All right. So one of the things that I've learned over the last 12 months since I joined Zendesk as CIO and really gotten deep into the SaaS world and how things work in the SaaS world is my whole career has been based on how things used to work. So I've been successful and richly rewarded based on large transformational ERP type implementations by driving big changes, doing big things. And what that has led to, as I'm very focused on keeping relationships going, and I've been CIO of 2 large retailers. I'm very good friends with the CIOs in those retailers. And while we're still very good friends, they are challenged by the things which I had left them with. Those implementations that I put in place were best in class at the time. They were highly complex, deep integration, on their own technical stack. They were going after a business case, solving a business problem. They were the best we could do at that time. They were financially depreciated over as a 5-year asset, kind of like a building. But the reality is the things which I implemented in the 90s and the 2000s and the 2010s are assets that live 5, 10, 15 years, and businesses have to operate on those. So where that leaves my fellow CIOs is a bit stuck. So one of the opportunities I've had over the years is to really network and spend a lot of time with CEOs. CEOs in retail, CEOs in consumer products specifically, are very interested on how they should be leveraging technology. And they have this hunger and this curiosity about how to leverage technology. And a lot of that is driven by the competitive nature of the business they're in, and how difficult it is, and how paranoid they are that someone is dreaming something up to come after them and to come after their business. And without exception, CEOs are somewhere between frustrated and angry at their inability to have a business model that is flexible, fast, agile, and that can adapt. And they blame that frequently right on their technology. That they've put technology in place, large ERP in place that's given them safety and security, but has not enabled their business now to thrive in the competitive world that we're all in right now. When I talk to CIOs, CIOs are in a very tough spot. They've got budgets that are relatively fixed. They've got increasing costs associated with these large products which they've implemented. They've got the challenges of modern technology all around them that they're trying to figure out how to bring into their workplace, but also still within the mindset of the controls and the standards of which CIOs put in place. They've also got the challenge of their employees. Their employees want to be on modern technology and working with modern technology. The ERP systems that we implemented 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago have crappy UI. It's a crappy experience for users. It's more like factory work and process work and efficiency work as opposed to the new technologies that are available today. So CIOs are between a rock and a hard place. They're stuck. So why are you stuck? And again, I'm talking to myself here. So why are you stuck? So you're stuck with the technology, but you're also stuck with the culture of large corporations, especially from where I came from retail and consumer products, which is very conservative, very risk averse. You're willing to take risk on some parts of your business, but not on your technology and your business processes. You have this false sense of security that if you just keep incrementing this and you keep working this, you'll get to the end result. But the reality is, in the world we're in, and we see it every day here in San Francisco, speed and agility kill. And all industries are under pressure with competitors that are agile and are able to react quickly. So being conservative, incrementing what feels like safety and security is actually putting your business further and further behind and putting your business more at risk. So how do you bridge out of that? Now I'm really talking to myself. So when I joined Zendesk, I came in with all of the baggage of being a large company, old style CIO with a curiosity and some leadership capabilities. And what I learned very, very quickly was in the SaaS world, if you're running your business in a completely no on-prem architecture, and in a SaaS world, if you build products that are all SaaS-based and flexible, your IT and how you think about speed are completely different than what it looks like in a traditional company. So if you started a company today, and at Zendesk we have a front row seat for most startups that have cranked up over the last 5 or 6 years, if you start up a company today, you're going to run through the app network, the app store, and you're going to grab the very specific apps you need to run your business. You'll get a finance system, an HR, a payroll system. You'll get a customer service app, all SaaS-based, all super lightweight. You'll put a little integration layer in so that all of those can communicate. You'll put a little analytics over the top of it. You'll architect for the size business you're in and the capabilities you need at that time. But you're also architecting for where you might go in the future and architecting to keep things light so that you can keep changing and keep adapting to the modern technologies that are out there. If you're going to build your product, which is what most companies are doing now, you're going to go sign up with a credit card with one of the public cloud services. You're not going to build a data center. You're not going to go and sign up with a technology company and go buy hardware. You're going to move quickly, and you're going to buy the processing power and the storage that you need. Frequently, startups are doing that with a credit card and going. If you're going to build your software, you're going to open source libraries. You're actively participating in open source. But you're building from a base that's never been larger of capabilities so that you can go fast, so that you can be agile, so that you can adjust your business. And so my early steps into this as I moved into Zendesk, I was used to things taking 6, 9, 12, 18 months to get done. Zendesk, we have roughly 1,600 employees building software around the world. We have about 100,000 customers. So some of the early test cases we had that my boss, our founder, gave me was, hey, can you straighten out some of the things that we have from an employee capabilities and employee productivity standpoint? So tools. So we're an engineering company. We build stuff. We're bottoms up. So we have a plethora of tools that are being used by teams, and there was a desire to straighten that up. So we did a quick, the team had already done most of the legwork. We did a quick analysis, chose a video provider. Video in my previous life was just a nightmare of how long it took to get things operating, how much hand-holding it took to actually operate, and how unhappy everyone was with the video constantly. So we chose a SaaS vendor, starts with a Z, 4-letter word, fantastic company, great partner to Zendesk. Rolled it out to all of our employees in 4 weeks, and it worked, and employees were happy, and we shut off all the other video. So that was eye-opening for me. And then, so we did it with chat. We rolled up all the different development chat tools that we had out there. We had information spread all over the place, brought that together. Again, 4-week rollout, turned off all of the other products. Employees were happy. We were on a modern platform. We were all collaborating together. Things just worked. Eye-opening for me. So what that leads me to think about is I think about going back in time to my CIO position in big old legacy companies that are trying to fight their way through and thrive. why aren't you stepping back and thinking about your full architecture like you don't have any technology today? So if we were going to start our business today, what technology would we run our business on to be most effective? And do we even know? Are we plugged in enough with what's going on out there in the apps network, in the integration layers, in the analytics, so that we're thinking and challenging ourselves on why can't we start unwinding some of this big monolithic technology that we're running on so that we can get speed into our business? And why aren't we doing that more frequently? And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. So why does fast matter? I've hit on most of these things, but in the world of SaaS, in the world of technology companies, you measure things in weeks, and weeks to deploy. Our Zendesk product, roughly 100,000 plus customers at this point. Our average deployment for rolling out the customer service set of our products is less than 2 weeks. So a lot of that is small companies that are just starting up. They start with a free trial. They grow their product into 5, 10, 20 customer service reps. Our complicated and more complex implementations maybe take 4 weeks. We've had a few take 6 weeks or 8 weeks if there's thousands of customer service reps. But it's a completely different approach to having a lightweight SaaS product that you're deploying and rolling out, as opposed to the big on-prem giant change management exercises I've gone through in the past. And it's so light, and it feels so good to be a part of something like that. So fast is the ability to roll things out fast, but it's also the ability to try things fast. So one of the beautiful things that you get in SaaS, and again, talking about our product, it can be turned into many different types of use cases, but you can try things and fail really, really fast and learn from those failures. So you're not doing a 3-month or 6-month or 9-month initiative and getting to failure. You're doing something that takes a couple of days, really probably doesn't even take any technology folks to be involved, and trying it and see if that works, and then applying those learnings. So you get speed in what the way you learn and the way you drive your processes. You get speed in the way you're able to pull together analytics and the way you're able to look at your business. One of the things that was given to me as a challenge when I arrived at Zendesk was our company had grown really, really fast. We had a lot of analytics that was spread across the business that really wasn't coming together. We had a lot of meetings where a lot of different business leaders had different numbers that were the same metric talking at each other. And so how can we get something that looks more like an enterprise set of data and analytics? On my past life, that was in retail. There was one giant player. That player was massive and expensive. They were all proprietary. You had a giant annual negotiation for more storage, more processing. Everything was batch. So if you think about retail, you've got stores. So my Gap experience, we had 3,600 stores around the world, nightly batches in. We had a giant e-commerce business, nightly batches in. You have supply chains at multiple levels around the world, giant batches of data in, and you have these big processors in your data center churning through that information so the next day data is available. In the SaaS world, it's a different game. I had to go hire some people. We hired a couple people in the fall. We did a little design work, went over to see Google and the Google Cloud product, BigQuery product, cranked up a little bit of a model, built a little bit of an integration, built a little bit more of an integration. First quarter, started using our analytics in our data warehouse for the initial reads. It'll take a little more time to build it out. Cost like 1/1000th of what the on-site proprietary data warehouses of my past cost. The speed, the flexibility, the scale, unimaginable. We're able to put our own analytics product over the top of it so we can have the kind of visual analytics that we want, but remarkable what you can do now. So speed really matters. Benefits, so speed to success, speed to failure and learning. Subscription, pay for what you want to use. We still have, if you look at our largest customers mostly all started as free trials at one point, paying with a credit card, and then have grown. So most all of the unicorns kind of make up our largest customers. Some of those customers at pretty extraordinary rates are still paying us on their credit card on a monthly basis. That's their choice if that's what they want to do. But the beauty of that model, if you think about that from the traditional software model of buying software, paying maintenance, being locked in for long periods of time, as opposed to architecting your business so that you're taking advantage of best of breed SaaS providers. And when you want to turn one off, if there's a better technology, it's not complicated. What I told the video providers that we had used in the past, the chat providers, if your product improves, if your price point improves, it's easy enough for us to switch back to you. It's not a big thing. We just proved that we could do that. So you can take advantage of the best that is happening and stay modern when you're architected correctly. And then improving customer relationships. All of the different things that you can really bring together. I'm used to the world of having views of your customer from a store's viewpoint, from a loyalty viewpoint, from an e-commerce viewpoint, from a service standpoint, but really struggling to bring all of that data together. There's no excuse for that now. With modern technology, like what we use at Zendesk, you can really bring all of that data together and have that, the goal we always had for the last 20 years, that whole view of a customer. Your customers expect you to have it anyway. Bring it together and then do something productive with it. Plug in the firm. So Zendesk, we make what we call beautifully simple software. So we're focused on customer relationships. When I arrived, the design and creative side of our business was actually larger than the IT side of our business. So super focused on user interface and customer experience, and then super focused on the other side of the transaction, on the customer service reps, so that you've got a happy experience on both sides fully informed, customers able to communicate what their questions are, issues are in a multitude of different channels, customer service reps having a whole pile of tools and information about that customer so they can respond quickly and with relevant information. So my first week with Zendesk, we had a user conference a little like this, a little smaller, but it was my first experience of actually meeting customers of a software company who weren't angry. They were happy. They liked the product. They had ideas. They had things that they wanted to see out of the product, but they were passionate about the product. It's a whole different ballgame when you can stay on that edge and stay integrated. I'm going to skip forward a little bit. I'll hit on scale here in a moment, but the clock says I'm talking too long. So how to get unstuck? So architecture is, from my viewpoint, critical. But not architecture in the way that we've traditionally thought about architecture in large IT organizations. I've always had architects working for me, architecting the big apps that we have, trying to get the right data standards and trying to make sure that the underlying technologies were evolving correctly, thinking about the business needs. This is really about thinking about architecture from a SaaS standpoint. So how do you break your business up into slices or microservices or app services? How do you start breaking that up and start taking down the monolithic components of your technology to enable what your CEO wants, what your business leaders want, which is speed and agility? You still have to stay safe and secure as you do that, so you don't get to throw that out the window. But as a technology leader, you've got to take more risk. You've got to get more aggressive, and that can be done through a thoughtful architecture. It can be done through a thoughtful integration layer. This is why I find MuleSoft to be so powerful as a bridge out of the world of which most companies are stuck in, and a bridge where you can start stepping through and integrating small components and moving more and more to SaaS and application-based platforms. And then the other thing to think about is the scale of which I always thought that in retail we had more scale than perhaps anything than financial services. If you think about stores, e-commerce volume, supply chain volumes, hundreds of thousands of SKUs all over the world, it all adds up to an enormous amount of volume. Which required us to do all kinds of unnatural acts to prepare for the largest sales parts or seasons of the year. In SaaS, and the kind of SaaS we run, focused on customer service and on that customer experience, we have every delivery company, every gaming company, every tech-based company in the world that you can think of usually has Zendesk somewhere embedded into their architecture. And they have new product launches, they have the weekend, they have holidays. There are all of these events where we see spikes of transaction volume because we're all walking around with supercomputers in our pocket and we're hitting these companies or participating in what they're doing or playing their games or signaling a car or ordering some food. We see transaction volumes like I've never seen before in anything. And we're able to handle it because we've architected our SaaS model and we've architected our infrastructure on public cloud to be able to expand and be able to deal with it. So the message I have to myself is think about your business if you had all new technology and know what's going on in the world of technology enough to have a point of view of what technology you would want, and then go and try it. Figure out ways to do trials and to learn and to apply, and then take that back into your business frequently, which is more conservative than what the technology leaders are, and start educating them on what this change from a 5-year depreciating of assets looks like versus the subscription world that we all need to be in. And that's us, and that's our product. So thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great conference.